Hello students, welcome to the course Design Pattern, course code SAD304. In this session, we will learn MVC Design Pattern. MVC stands for Model View Controller. Let's start with the outline. In today's session, we will learn the basic introduction, model, view, controller, the three interconnected parts, YAML representation, and then the code implementation of MVC pattern, and at the end conclusion. After learning the model view controller design pattern, you will be able to organize your code into different parts or different independent sections. And then you will be able to put the classes and the core functions inside related parts or the sections. It also helps the developers to do the parallel programming. As we know that in MVC design pattern, we have divided our code into different parts, into different sections or layers. So developers or the programmers will be able to do programming independently and in parallel fashion. Let's start with the introduction. The purpose of many computer systems is to retrieve the data from a data store and display it for the user. After the user changes the data, the system stores the updates in the data store because the key flow of the information is between the data store and the user interface. As we know that mostly applications, almost every application has some data, some backend data store. The data store can be any Excel file, it can be CSV, comma separated file, it can be a table, it can be SQL, MySQL, or it can be a simple textual file. And the flow of information is from fetching of the data from the backend, the data source, and displaying into the user interface. So this is basically the flow of information. You can see that there is so much dependency between the data store and its representation. So there is a need of a framework in which we can separate these two interconnected parts, and we can reduce the coupling and the dependency between the data store and its representation. While working with the data store and fetching the data from the data store, you represent the data or the information into some views or any representation GUI. So you might be inclined to tie these two pieces together to reduce the amount of coding and to improve the application performance. It means that you might be using the same file or the same class for fetching the data, for storing the data, and for displaying the information into some GUI control. However, this seemingly natural approach has some significant problem. According to your perception, you think that the number of files and the classes are reduced because you are putting the data store, retrieval, and fetching functions and data display functions inside the same class or the file. But this approach has many dependency and many tight coupling between the data store and its representation. One problem is that the user interface tends to change much more frequently than the data storage system. Why so? Because mostly the client requests to change the interface gradually. As mostly client tend to change the theme based on some events, based on some time, or with the passage of changing requirement, they request to change the interface. So if your data or your all displaying logic is inside the same class or the same file, then there might be the problem of regression, that when you change the code for displaying or for its representation logic, then might be it can be disturbed, it can disturb the logic and the code for retrieving the data related to all functions or all logic. So there is a tight coupling and the dependency between the data storage functions and data display functions. So and also there is another problem with coupling the data and the user interfaces pieces, is that the business applications tend to incorporate business logic that goes far beyond data transmission. That instead of just displaying the data from the data store inside the its GUI unit interface, you might be implementing some business logic. For example, let's say you are designing an e-commerce application where the different prices of the products are being displayed, but every season and every different occasions and festives, the prices may be reduced due to some discount or some discount and sale. So the sale prices will be calculated based on the event or based on the occasion, and this is basically a kind of business logic. So business logic can be changed with the passage of time and the requirements. If you try to change the code for the business logic every time, then it might disrupt the functionality of its displaying logic or its fetching logic. So the dependency between the information between the data storage and its logic, business logic, is very much highly coupled. So MVC design pattern will divide the code into different sections, which will handle the data storage and data representation and business logic separately. Model view controller design pattern is basically the architectural pattern for implementation of user interfaces on computers. This is architectural pattern wide, so because it is improving the architecture of your application, it is dividing your code, your programming logic into different interconnected parts, into different sections, into different layers. It divides a given software application into three interconnected parts so as to separate the internal representation of information from the ways that information is presented or accepted from the user. You know that in the first few slides we have already discussed that the flow of the information is from the data store to its view or GUI, and then GUI back interface from interface to the data store. Because maybe in any GUI or interface you are showing the information by fetching from the database, but when the user changes or edit the information will be moved back from interface to the data store based on the user query. So the MVC pattern separates the logics of representation and storage of information and also the business logic into different layers. This pattern is traditionally used for desktop graphical user interface applications, but now because of its importance, the MVC design pattern is highly recommended in mobile applications such as iOS and Android. Whereas mostly the iOS applications are very much restricted to follow this MVC framework because their editor Xcode helps to create the application and helps to organize the code in MVC based classes. So this architecture has become extremely popular for designing the web applications, the desktop applications, the mobile applications. To understand flow of information among the MVC design pattern, this diagram is very much helpful. You can see there are basically three important parts, three different sections. The one is the model. The model is basically just like a data store, or it's linked to the database, because you know that your application is displaying the data by fetching it from some backend data source. So the model is the section or a box which is responsible to fetch the information, to populate the information from the backend or any database. The database can be it can be in Excel, it can be CSV, it can be textual file, it can be MySQL, SQL, or any kind of data source. The second important part is view. View is basically the box or the section which is responsible for handling the logic for the representation of information. It means all your GUI code for displaying the information inside different controls such as text view, buttons, text views, and scroll bars, and sections and panels, all tables, lists, etc. All controls will be inside the section of view. The third part is controller. Controller is basically a bridge for model and view. The model and view will query through the controller. So controller is basically it will be providing the medium, the communication for flowing of information from model to view and back from view to model. Let's see the model in more detail. The model manages the behavior and the data of the application domain. It responds to request for information about the state, usually from the review, and it also responds to instructions to change the state, usually from the controller. Basically, whenever the information is retrieved from the data source or the backend, the model is the first section or the thing which is populated from the data source. So for each table, for each data source, you have different models. View basically manages the display of information. All your code, all your logics for creating the GUI controls, for displaying the GUI layers will be written inside the views. View represent the visualization of the data that models contain, because you have to show the data, you have to display the data by fetching it from the data store, and you have to show it to the user. So view is basically responsible to show the information to the user using some GUI interface. Controller is the link between a user and the system. Controller acts on both model and view. It controls the data flow into model object and updates the view whenever data changes. It keeps the view and model separate. So basically, the controller is responsible to bring the communication, to establish the communication between view and model. So by getting all the details, you can easily understand the functionality of three connected parts: the model, the controller, and the view. So let's summarize. The model is basically the data storage, and it handles the queries for fetching the information from the data store. The controller is basically it's basically establishing the communication between model and view. So it acts like a bridge. The view is the representation of the information. So now there is need to understand inside the MVC design pattern that how many models and controllers and view needs to be created. Just and start just try to understand it this way, that whenever you create the tables for representation of different objects or the entity. Let's say you are designing a system for a university, and there are different entities such as student, such as teacher, and rooms and timetable. So for all different entities, when you create the different tables, you have to also create the separate models for each table. So there are multiple tables for storage of the information. Similarly, you have to create the model for each individual table separately. Each model will be storing the data of its own table. For example, for storage of the information of student, there will be student model. Similarly, the second table, if it's teacher, then you have to create the model class for the same table. And if there is a room table in your database, then you have to create separate model for that entity. So for storage of information of each table separately, you have to create or design the model. And similarly, to represent the information from model, you have to create the separate view for each model, such as the information of the each entity will be displayed in its corresponding views, whereas the model may be linked to different views, because it's happens sometimes that the same information is being displayed inside different GUI interfaces, so you can create multiple views for a single model. To learn the coding for implementation of MVC design pattern, let's take a very basic example. We are going to create a student object acting as a model. Let's say we have a table of student entity inside our database. Then see how we can create the model and its corresponding view for storage of data, and as well as for its representation separately using the MVC design pattern. So we will going to create a student model, as well as the second student view, which will be a view class which can print the student details on console. And to establish the communication between the student model and student view, you need to create the student controller. The controller class will be responsible to store the data in student object and update the student view accordingly. And the next class will be our demo class, which will use the student controller to demonstrate the use of MVC pattern. This is the human representation of our student model and view and controller. Simply you have to write the classes for student model and student view and student view controller. So for each table there will be a requirement of three classes. For example, there is a one table of student, then you have to write a separate model, its separate view and its separate controller. Similarly, if there is second entity such as a teacher, then you have to write its teacher model, teacher view and teacher controller. If there is another entity, so you have to write the three classes for each entity. But in this example, short example, we have just taken the example of student entity. So we need to design the student model, student view and student controller class. You can see in this class diagram, the view contains the representation or the information logic. We are not going to create some GUI control inside it, but we are just simply using the print functionality for displaying the information. Whereas the model is basically with the name of the same as the entity name, which is student in this case. You can see the attributes are roll number and name. So all the fields inside the student table will be the attributes of the member of the model class. If they like such in this case the student has only two attributes, which is roll number and name. If the student tables inside the database contains 10 different fields, then you have to declare all the attributes inside the model class, and you have to also write the setter and the getter function inside the model, because once the model is populated from the data source, you have to set and get the information from these attributes. And then the third class is the controller class. Controller class is basically having the functions for bringing the communication between the view and the controller, between view and the model. This is the first class of model, which is student model in this case. The class is containing the two attributes, the roll number and the name, and also the setter and getter. So this is very simple class. You have to declare all attributes which are basically the fields of that table in your database. So if the entity contains 100 attributes, then you have to declare all fields as attributes inside this model class. Next class is the view class. The view class contains the print student detail method, inside which we are using the system.out.println to show and to represent the information of student. So basically we have two type of information, two attributes of student, which is name and the roll number. If there are multiple attributes, then you can use you can display them. And if there is some need of table or list or any GUI control, then you can write your view logic inside this class. The next is the student view controller class. As we know that the controller is establishing the communication between view and model, so it has the reference of both its model and its relevant view. So inside it you can see that we have the reference of student model and student view, and in constructor we are setting the corresponding model and view reference. And also we have some other methods to, if let's say if we have to update the information inside the model, and when it's required, let's say there is some kind of editing functionality that you are providing the user. Let's say user is updating something or providing something new, like you upload your new photo or any information inside the profile editing, so you can pass the information from the interface or the view to the model class. So we have set a method to update the model, like we are setting the model name inside this method. Similarly, when the model is updated, we can get the information or fetch the information from model anytime, and we can pass it to the view. The next is similarly the setter and the getter method for updating the information of second attribute. And the very important method is update view. This method will be called when you have to send the information from model to the view, because we know the information flow from data source to the GUI or the interface. So firstly we have to fetch the information from the data source, and then we have to populate the corresponding model for fetching the information from the entities, and then to display the information we have to pass some model information to the view. So inside this method you can see that the print details method of the view is being called by passing the information or fetching the information from the relevant model. So model.getName and model.getRoll number is basically, they are basically populated from data source. How they are populated, we will see in the next class, that how we can populate the models from the data source. Now to use the models and views together, Let's take the demo class. Understand this demo class. You can see inside the main method, the model is being created with by getting and populating the information from the method retrieve student from database. So if you see that what's happening in this method, in this method we are just creating the student model and we are setting its information. In this function we are setting its static information, but you can query from the database, and then fetching from the database you can pass information from database to this model, and you can load or populate the model. So basically the term for populating the model is also used as such as loading the model. So you have to fill the model attributes by fetching the information from the fields and attributes of the database or field database attributes. So the in the first statement the model is being populated or loaded. The next is yet the information is not yet displayed, so you have to create a view. The next statement is creating the view, so which is student view, and the next is controller creation. Inside the controller constructor you can see that we are passing the reference of both its corresponding model and view. And then the next method is control.update view. Why this method is being called? Because we know that the model is being populated but the view is empty. So you have to tell the controller that there is a time that the view need to update or refresh itself. Inside the update view method you have seen that the loaded model is passing the information to its view. In this statements, the first flow of the information is handled, which is that the data is being fetched from the data source and then passed to the model, and then the information from the model is passed to the view, its corresponding view, to display it to the user. Now what if the user update the information from the view? So when the user is user is providing some new information or inserting the new information through some forms or views, then you have to update all the model also. But in this case controller is updating the model by passing it inside the set student name method, which is the different information, and then controller is again updating the view because the model is being changed, the model is being uploaded with the different information, whereas the view is old. So you have to explicitly use the controller update view method to refresh the view again, because the model is carrying the new information now. So now you can see that how we have used the MVC design pattern to handle the flow of information from data store to the models and views, and then back from views to data store. This is the logging of the output of this very basic demo. Inside this you can see first the information is the name and the roll number, and then the next, if the information is being changed, you can see the model is updated, and also does the view. We have also refreshed the view when the information is being changed. So now you have learned that how we have divided our code into three different parts, which in this case is model, view and controller. So these three sections work independently, and the controller is used to bring the communication between model and view. So the MVC design pattern basically separates the logic of the business logic, the database relevant functions, and also the GUI logic into view. So we can conclude that the MVC design pattern helps the developer to write the code simultaneously or parallelly. So it helps simultaneous development inside your application. We know that multiple developers can work simultaneously on the model, controller and views, whereas it is difficult for multiple developers to work in the same file. Different kind of regressions and updations problems may occur. So by dividing the code into three different parts, the developers can work simultaneously in different sections. And also the MVC also helps to bring the loose coupling, because the very nature of the MVC framework is such that there is low coupling among the model, views and controllers. Similarly, by separating the information into separating the code into different parts, it's easy to modify the code. So now it's ease of modification. Because of the separation of responsibilities, future development or modification is easier. For example, a team might divide their developers between the front end and the back end. The back end developers can design the structure of the data and how the user interface interact it without requiring the user interface to be completed. So conversely, the front-end developers are able to design and test the layout of the application prior to the data structure being available. So we can see that MSA design pattern will improve the basic architecture of application in a very good manner.